CEO of Chennai Smart City Limited, and I'm very thankful to the Phoenix Mall for organizing this, because what the Chennai Corporation has done is something spectacular in the Kannagi Nagar. Hopefully it will become a very vibrant art district. Yesterday there was a huge community-driven program where they not only had their own art show and so on, but their children were painting the walls, celebration of art in that district, and hopefully this will become a serious art district and one of the examples for the rest of the city also, because we need to do many of them. So I hope this is just the beginning of something wonderful. Thank you.
We are doing a project in Kannagi Nagar called Kannagi Art District. It has been almost a month that we started it, and we are planning to paint 16 large walls, large murals in Kannagi Nagar. Almost 10 is finished, another 6 to go. We are planning to complete in another week or two, and in this context we had a discussion in Phoenix Mall today, Palladium Mall today. It is regarding what is the impact and what is how we can take this project forward. So we had a very fruitful discussion, and I think we can take it a long way ahead.
There were like other places as well that we were taking under consideration, but for many reasons we found Kannagi Nagar to be very interesting as a case of study as well. If you Google Kannagi Nagar, what comes out immediately are pages and pages dedicated to crime, horrible livelihood, and etc. etc. While instead what we saw in Kannagi Nagar was like a set of informal settlement, let's say, a lot of creativity in the streets, like also when it comes to the street vendors and all of that. For us, it's also very important, the architecture of a space, because as you might have seen from the photos which are in loop, like in Kannagi, there are those beautiful big facades of the buildings, and we are always looking for big canvases. Another aspect is that it's very pedestrian friendly. There are almost no cars. You really walk around very easily. Which means that in cities where, in Chennai of course you have Marina, that is a unique example of ease in walking and in leaving a public space. But other than that, we live in very traffic, crowded cities where you don't really have nice spaces to walk around. So on an architectonical level, this neighborhood was very beautiful. Large streets, big facades, no traffic. On an urban regeneration level, it gave us the opportunity of perhaps set up a case of study and saying, okay, what art can do? If we embed art in Kannagi Nagar, would this help a reality which is marginalized, which is very difficult, that people don't know about, while instead has 24,000 families, is one of the major resettlements made by the government. So how also to collaborate with the government to try and how can I say, regenerate a space. And that's also when also the other realities such as Chennai Photo Biennale, Urban Design Collective, Madras Inherited come into the picture, because we as an NGO also run community activities, but we are not based in Chennai. And we really hope that by this local network, the community activities are going to keep on going, which means also perhaps offer something which can better the livelihood, as we said, of Kannagi Nagar people.
Do you have awareness campaigns and all sort of stuff? Actually, not only from the corporation or from the smart cities, but Department of Health also does that. In fact, last month or so, there was a huge awareness campaign in Besant Nagar. So that is also happening, but this is not for this particular initiative is not for for health or for sanitation or not for anything. Art for art, something like that we can call it.
Chennai Smart City Limited. In terms of expansion, I think India in general and Tamil Nadu in particular, I think public art is nothing new. You walk on many of the streets, the various ancient buildings, you can see it's a work of art in itself. But I think in the last few years, a few decades probably, we haven't had that many public art like you see in other countries. So this is a spectacular start, and there has been attempts earlier also to kind of figure out how do we bring more public art into Chennai. So expansion for me would be I'm not an artist, yeah, but I know that art could be concrete, steel, water, laser, technology, non-technology, um, inclusive, and so on and so forth, right? These are the things I keep hearing from my artist friends. It'll be nice if Chennai could become one of the public art capitals of the world. It's not going to be easy because, as you can see, this itself is not an easy work, mobilizing teams and so on. But I think we should aim at that level for us to be able to reach even half of it. We can't be. It's great that what we're doing here, thanks to LB and others. This is a spectacular achievement for the city. But we cannot be stopping here. We should try and see how do we make this Chennai into one of those shining examples in the world.
So I'm Malgan, Greater Chennai Corporation. Coming to Chennai, Chennai is a very creative city. In fact, we are a member of UNESCO Creative Cities Network. We are very known for our, the music festival, Madras Music Festival. Also, we have a very traditional and very colorful dance festival also, which will happen every year. But when it comes to public art or painting and other sorts of, social arts, as Raj was telling, the city has done various steps at various points of time. But I think this is the first, concrete and concrete step that is taken on this kind of a scale. And as he was telling, we are definitely, we want to do more, and we will try our best to do it. Thank you.
Urban Design Collective. We are a collaborative platform for architects, urban designers and planners to make livable cities through participatory planning. I think one of the verticals of our work, which is most relevant to this discussion, is art and the city. And under this, we look at like two components. One of them is research-based, where we actually study and analyze the impacts of the art on the city. And in that sense, we look at what it does to the physical environment, what it does to the social-cultural impact, and as well as the sort of economic benefits of investing in the arts as a city, at a city level. The other component of our work is actually directly related to the praxis part, where we actually use art as a medium for participatory planning as a process. And what we did at Kannagi Nagar as part of the festival was also something similar, because we had two projects. One of them was the postcard project, where we actually sort of mapped all the different games that the kids in Kannagi Nagar play, and the postcards will then be sent out. In fact, I'd like to invite, if anybody would like to receive a postcard, please drop us your address and we will send you one. And the other part was a project which is called Redrawing Kannagi Nagar, where we were trying to create a displacement map, and to understand, sort of helps make it more accessible, make the entire process of planning and designing our cities more accessible to a wider audience, and that's kind of where we position ourselves.
I'm Purnima, and I run a collective called the Aravani Art Project. We work with public wall murals. We are yet to paint in Kannagi Nagar. We're starting tomorrow, and we just finished and wrapped up a community art project in Dharavi for 25 days. Yeah.
So actually,
also participating in a way, because the viewers are our participators throughout the process. And it's important that now we've all stepped up to actually include them very aggressively, in a way that we want them to come and participate in some of the projects, and we're making these projects available for everybody, and it's so free, and it doesn't have, maybe it's just for women sometimes, maybe it's just for children, and that's a nice way to for them to also interact with their own age group, with their own maybe like-minded people, which otherwise maybe they don't get to do it regularly in their own areas. That's one aspect.